It's our pleasure that you're all here once again. And yeah, so tonight we have two wonderful speakers. First off, you might notice that Yadunandana Swami is with us again. Last year he did a wonderful presentation. And again, this year he'll be doing another nice presentation. And then after Yadunandana Swami, we will have His Holiness Krishna Chaitra Maharaj. Okay, Maharaj, I won't take up any more time and I'll hand it over to you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Nrisimha Kavacha Prabhu, for inviting me to participate, and thank you very much to all the head pujaris and any other members who may be present for this Sanga. It's my great pleasure and honor to be able to participate for this session. So, anyway, we will start. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha. So for this year, I thought we have about 1 hour, quite tight, approximately, for the presentation. So I thought, instead of giving as many quotes as we had the last year, to do something, have some little workshop dividing into groups. So I'll give an introduction to the topic, and then you will have time to work in groups to discuss in what way the topic applies in practice in your as head pujaris in your service. And then we can bring the feedback from the groups and take comments and questions on the topic. So in this way, we journey it and learn from each other. The topic is pleasing Krishna by pleasing Krishna's devotees. As you know, this is an essential principle of Vaishnava culture. It is actually the very essence of Vaishnavism. Like, for instance, in the worship of the Lord, in invoking and stating what is our position, we quote the Naham Vipro Nachanarapatir verse, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasaha. We're the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, who is the master of the gopis. So this is our position. We are not anything else. No varna, no ashrama. We are nothing in this world. Actually, we are servants of the servant of the servant. I would like to read a couple of from Srila Prabhupada's books to put it into context. There are numberless references on this principle, how if we want to please the Lord, the best way is by pleasing His devotees. So we need to, certainly as pujaris, as head pujaris, we need to connect our service with pleasing the devotees. Of course, later on we will explore how it is done, this, and you will share your realizations in your groups, and then with the whole class as far as possible. So I'll read the two references I have here. I won't project them for the sake of time. I'll read the second paragraph of the purport to the Nashta Prajeshu Abhadreshu verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-18. Srila Prabhupada is speaking about Bhagavata Seva, service to the book Srimad Bhagavatam, and service to the devotee Bhagavata. And this applies both to the spiritual master and in general to all Vaishnavas. it depends where we put the focus, but certainly it's applicable in both dimensions. And actually there is not so much difference in that, like Sri Narottam Das Thakur states, Hari Guru Vaishnava, that the Lord, the spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas are on the same transcendental platform. Srila Prabhupada states, the devotee Bhagavata is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavata, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavata. Human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee Bhagavata or the book Bhagavata, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. But actually these are facts explained by Srila Narada Deva, who happened to be a maidservant's son in his previous life. The maidservant was engaged in the menial service of the sages, and thus he also came into contact with them. And simply by associating with them and accepting the remnants of foodstuff left by the sages, the son of the maidservant got the chance to become the great devotee and personality Srila Narada Deva. These are the miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavatas. And to understand these effects, practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. So it is something we may underline here, is that Sri Narada Muni becomes the powerful Acharya, and the Bhakti Vedantas are actually anonymous. We don't know what were their names, what was their background, but still the power of Vaishnava Seva produced such an effect. And then we have in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.63, the famous verse, Aham Bhakta Paradhino, the Lord is speaking here, Yasvatanta Ivatvija, Sattu Bir Grasta Ridayo, Bhaktair Bhakta Janapriyaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, speaking to Durvasa Muni, when he tells him, I'm sorry, I cannot help you, the chakra is burning you, but I'm very sorry, you offended my devotee, and you are in trouble. You have to go back to him. I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent, because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit on the course of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport states, all the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotees. Why is this? Because the devotee is Anja Vilasita Shunya. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, so here Srila Prabhupada is including every devotee. The devotees, we could say this applies to the Mahabhagavata or to the advanced devotee or to the spiritual master, but here it is mentioned the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Chariya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payeche Keva. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasaha. Thus, he instructed us to become not directly servants of Krishna, but servants of the servant of Krishna. Devotees like Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva Goswami are directly servants of Krishna, and one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva, like the 6 Goswamis, is still more devoted. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. If one very sincerely serves the spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. So these 2 references are very significant. And we could come, when we hear this last purport, we could say, okay, this applies especially to the advanced devotees, but then we find, for instance, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the case of Kalidas, how Kalidas received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri when he went to visit the Lord for the Ratha Yatra festival, due to the fact that he served each and every devotee of Bengal. And he devised all types of tricks to eat the remnants of their food, even though he was born in a Brahmana family, and they were born, many of them, or some of them, were born in families considered socially inferior from the Varna Ashrama viewpoint. By doing that, he was able to get a special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could drink the water that washed the lotus feet of the Lord when he was preparing to enter the temple of Lord Jagannath. And the Lord allowed him to drink thrice. And he will not allow, practically speaking, anybody else to have such special mercy. So anyway, this is an introductory words to the topic of pleasing Krishna by pleasing Krishna's devotees. Now we want to divide into groups. So you will be divided into groups of 3 to 5. I asked Hamsavatar Prabhu if that was possible, and he said yes, we'll arrange. So I'll read the question. Your task, you will have about 12 minutes to discuss in your groups. Is 12 minutes enough, or you want a little more? It's enough. I don't know how much. If you will be Spanish, maybe Spanish people like to speak a lot. So Latin people, they like to express themselves. So the question is as follows. We have to look at 2 things. What are the challenges and what are the opportunities in applying this principle of pleasing Krishna by pleasing Krishna's devotees for a head Pujari? I'm sure you are doing that a lot, so it's not a difficult question, so it's not rocket science. Of course, it's more than rocket science in that it is very, very confidential and it is transcendental. So in that sense, it is. But also you can draw, naturally, you will be able to draw from your experience. So we look at it from the perspective of a head Pujari, and you could extend it also to Pujaris in general, in case some of the participants have not had Pujaris. So we can look at it also in general, for Pujari Seva. Is it clear, the question? So, okay, so I think it's Shamapriya Mataji has posted it on the chat. So you can also refer to the question there. And now I think you will be sent to your planets interactive virtual planets or your room, like in the Pujari room in Mayapur, the new Pujari room. There are so many rooms. So you are sent to one of those. Okay, thank you very much for the group work. How did it go? How it was in the groups? Good. So let's start with the opportunities. We look into the opportunities. Normally we like the sweet after and then the salty or bitter before. But anyway, Gujaratis, they like to eat sweet in the beginning, so there is no harm in. So let's take the opportunities and then we go to the challenges and then discuss a little bit whatever we can from the challenges. So who likes to share very briefly? We have to be concise because it's a broad topic and I'm sure there are many points. So who likes to share from what you discuss in your groups? We don't have the time to go through the 7 groups and take one point from each. So we open it here and we let it to those who want to contribute and to share concisely what opportunities did you see in your groups? Astasaki Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you, Yadunandana. Thank you for your
Thank you.
participating in our meetings. So in New Vrajada, we have a very good practice, I think. We can organize it once or twice a year for Pujaris and non-Pujaris who used to help regularly in the worship. That we organize Sangas. So outside this Pujari service, we used to be together for 3-4 hours. We play, so there are many games, but every game are connected with the worship, with Radhishyam. We read together from Navabraja Mahima or pastimes of Krishna, or do a little bhajan, and then we finish it with a big Mahaprasadam. So, and they like very much, they enjoy it. So it's very, very important, I think, to be together like human beings, like simple devotees outside our services. But the topic always connected with the worship or with the deities. So this
Thank
is
you very much. That's a practice.
opportunity.
Other temples may want to do if they are not doing it. So thank you very much. That's a wonderful opportunity to please the devotees by having a good time with them and getting all together and sharing in a more in a less formal scenario. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other opportunities you like to share to please the devotees? I mean, please Krishna by pleasing the devotees in Pujari Seva. Okay, good. There is from the Russian group, Adi Gopinath Prabhu is posting, it's on the chat, I'll read it. Carry out your duties carefully, gather in Sangas to communicate and study scriptures. That's a good idea. If others want to write what came out in the groups, we could go through it and read it. That's good. A good point. Take care of the devotees who serve under guidance. Personal communication and articulating the desires of the devotees. Be transparent and create a welcoming environment. Respect everyone. Be able to hear the devotees and make decisions that satisfy Krishna and all conflicting parties. Thank you very much for sharing this. Many good points here. Any other opportunities you like to share in pleasing Krishna by pleasing the devotees? Okay, should we move to the challenge?
Yes, there is Sripada Mataji who raised her hand.
Yes, Shri Prada Mataji from Sweden, ISKCON Albig.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, we were talking in general that actually being a head Pujari and a Pujari gives a lots of opportunity for developing this particular attitude of serving devotees and thus pleasing Krishna through that service, because they are devotees in different levels from different backgrounds. We have devotees or people who just came first time or first day. We have volunteers, for example, by Asanamvik, guests for Sunday feast. And the idea is to recognize them all as individuals, as a part and future potential great devotees of Krishna. And thus we have that opportunity to learn how to serve them and how to see them in that manner, to approach them and to facilitate them so that they can become devotees. And sometimes there will, of course, be people who will feel a little bit like, oh, I'm not being good, taking care enough, or they have done something wrong. And to learn how to do that, how to correct people, how to inspire them and not like burn them or turn them away, and how to help when there are conflicts. There is a lots of challenge, but that is also a great opportunity for us personally to actually grow and to then become an example and help others, and together find the ways that we can all become better servants. So that's what we were talking about.
Very good. Thank you very much. So yeah, some people who come are also, they are the deity's guests. So it's very personal. We're taking care of the guests when guests come to the temple, who are the guests of the deities, and the deities are very happy to see these souls who are coming to him. So it's a great privilege to have such a personal service to the Lord and to be able to mediate, so to say, between the Lord and the devotees and the guests who come. Thank you very much. There was another hand, and now was put down.
Руку поднимали, опустили, но это, собственно, я была. Ну, потому что многие моменты уже озвучили.
Yes, I think was Penny
It was Penny.
Hare Krishna Vaishnavas, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just a small contribution in our small group with wonderful Dvani Mataji, Rasalila, and Nitya Seva. We had a wonderful discussion. Main points were already announced by other devotees, but as a contribution, Manjit Dvani was saying that actually wonderful opportunity because we can become a servant of all, the community and the deities, and actually become a transparent and represent. And that's one of the things that we should always keep in mind, because, show our example in such a way. And one of the things Manjit Dvani said that one of the opportunities that we can arrange the service for others. And this is our great opportunity and responsibility. And remember, keep it in mind and be like the mediator between the devotees and the Lord, as already been mentioned. And one of the things that Manjit Dvani also mentioned, that one of the opportunities that we can deliver the prayers and the offerings that comes from the devotees. Other pujaris or servants at the temple, other devotees from the community. And Mataji Rasalila also continued with the mood of being a postman. And also taking care of the devotees. She brought an example of how during the pandemic, one of the devotees had to walk several hours in order to get to the temple and then do the puja and then walk back. And no one knew about it. And later on, when devotees found out, they decided to arrange some transportation for him. So in such a way, she was saying, like, we should always pay attention because, you know, devotees, they undercover. We never know, you know, what they have to go through in order to do the service. So in order to be able to serve them, we need to get to know them, be more personal. And right now she shared that actually she noticed that many devotees, they want to do a service, but there is not enough facility at the temple for them to stay, to accommodate them. So they expanded the space for devotees to stay over the night, rest nicely, and be able to offer the service. And yeah, and also Nitya Mataji shared that as a head pujari, we can always ask others to bring something for the deities from the dham, but be able and be ready to accept a no as an answer. And not to judge devotees, but to look within ourselves and see, okay, are we always willing to help others when they approach us despite their level of opposition? But just be always open-minded in such a way. So that's a few things that I would like to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent contributions. Yes, actually, to be a head pujari is a great privilege. And recently I visited the Bhakti Center in New York, and I met, for some years I was serving at Bhaktivedanta College in Radhadesh. And one of our first graduates, Vasudev Prabhu, is a head pujari at the Bhakti Center. So I was very happy to meet him there. And he was one of the members of the committee running the temple. And he shared, this mood was there. He was involving all the community in deity service, in making garlands or in doing different services for the deities. And for me, it was very pleasing to see that the service these devotees is offering to the community. So it's very active in, not just in the altar, but also in getting the other devotees and guests involved in serving the Lord in a personal way. Thank you very much. I'm sure there are many more points, but we should spend some time with the challenges. What challenges did you find in pleasing Krishna by pleasing the devotees for a head pujari? What type of challenges are there? Who likes to go? Someone who didn't speak? Okay, then Madhava Mataji, you can go if nobody else speaks. Good, please.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavas. So in continuation what we said earlier, Majidvani was sharing that actually one of the challenges is, you know, for ourselves personally, if we'll forget this right mood, you know, of being a servant, being a mediator, and, you know, represent the Lord for the community and represent the community for the Lord, for the deities. And for us, a great challenge is to start behave in the wrong way, being rude to others, and think that we have some kind of position, you know, above others, that we're in control. It's one of the things that, you know, really can come in the way of serving others. And as Rasalila Mataji was saying, yeah, we may not know. So in order to serve, we need to know, you know, whom we're going to serve and how we're going to do it. So sometimes a lack of information or a lack of communication could be in a way of this. There's like a few things. And as Nitya Mataji was saying, yeah, the mood, if we're going to criticize others, if they're not willing to do service the way we want them to do, we may not understand because we may value certain things. And if they're not, we immediately discredit them. But that we should always keep our mind sharp and in the mood of the service attitude. There's a few things that I would like to mention.
Okay, thank you very much. So we could summarize. I wrote on the chat, I'm sending it now, to forget our position as servants and to behave as if we are the controllers. So that's a challenge. Because sometimes when we are driving, we are in charge. So, and sometimes there is a stress, as I'm sure many of you experience. There is stress in the service, and we may forget why we are doing or what we're doing it for whom we are doing it. Any other contributions? There are 7 groups, there must be, I'm sure. There must be challenges. I mean, otherwise, unless you have one already to Goloka, and then...
Astasaki has a hand up.
Okay, yes, Astasaki Mataji.
Yes, now maybe another challenge is to ensure for the pujaris good sadhana, because they need to chant attentively and read day by day, but pujari service are many, so it's a big challenge to ensure them that sometimes they can participate in the morning programs, not do services, do service only later during the day. And another challenge to give them time to care their health also, because so ensure time for pujaris to care their spiritual practices and health.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I guess we should now address these 2 challenges, because otherwise, if we have a list to end with a list of challenges, and answers may not be good, and we have limited time for the session. So, how will you respond to forget our position as servants and to behave as if we are the controllers? Anyone likes to share his or her experience on how to do that, something that works for you to respond to this challenge? And here we don't need to say, okay, be too humble and say, no, I will not share. I know the solution, but I will not share. Any points? What to? In one way, it was mentioned in the opportunities. I mean, there was a list posted by one of the devotees. Adi Gopinath Prabhu posted, and he mentioned, be respectful to everyone and take care of devotees who serve under guidance. So many times we can respond to the challenges by taking the good opportunities. So basically, it's like a crossroads. We can take one lifestyle or another lifestyle, isn't it? We can choose to be a gentle and respectful, friendly, warm, communicative person. According to our nature, of course, there are characters. Sometimes we have head pujaris who are quite strong. I mean, it's we have one here. It's quite strong. Sometimes I'm serving as president in New Rajamandala, and so sometimes these things happen, that when the leader is very strong, may be difficult to balance, but there has to be some work has to be put there so that the devotees are happy, and we can measure to see how they are pleased. Of course, our strong head pujari here also has many personal details, giving Mahaprashadam and taking care of the devotees in different ways. So that also balances the situation. So anyway, so it's important, this principle. Shri Prada Mataji.
Yes, I don't know if that's practical for everyone, but what we have in our system is that we have a deity board also that is there to kind of support the head Pujari, but also to occasionally be there to correct me. And we also encourage and train all Pujaris to remember that we are friends and our anarthas are not us. So we should be able and encourage to every now and then, not that just we point to the Pujari, so this is not right, or people, but that they can also come to us and to me and talk that this maybe not making sense. Are you reading enough? Are you resting enough? Something is not right. You are not acting as, and then one can just look, oh yeah, that is the thing. How do I solve this? Can you maybe take a few hours so that I can, take a week little lesson, take time to chant and rest, and then I can come back with a good spirits. So we kind of try to develop that we are not alone as head Pujaris, and that I actually learned from my mother-in-law, who was a priest here in Sweden. And they have that system in place, that they have like a collegial work together, and that really helps.
Thank you very much. Something for us to consider and to apply in our temples and the Pujari departments. Very good. What about the second challenge, which in Sri Prada in part replied to it? And the second challenge was to give time to the to give time to the Pujaris, and also in general for Pujaris, to take care of both the spiritual health and the physical health. So it will be good sadhana for the spiritual health, attentive chanting and reading and the basis, and also for healthcare. So what is the solution for this? Here I can share, this was quite many years ago, when I served as Pujari in New Brajamandala in the 80s. What worked for me was to have, like, the advantage of Pujari work is that you are able to schedule. So in that sense, there is a strength. Like for other services, sometimes it's more difficult to schedule. Like last night, I finished at 10:30 night and still doing things. And I thought, how come it's so late and I still didn't finish everything I wanted to finish today? Of course, in Pujari department, it may happen if you are ordering in Pujari or cleaning or whatever, but certainly it's easier to schedule. So then it should be feasible to schedule also the timings. Like here, our head Pujari, she's not here because she doesn't speak English, and she may listen with a translator later on. So she wakes up at 2:30 in the morning for chanting rounds. So I'm sure some of you may be doing also raising very early to bed, very early to rise for chanting. So like that, each one should find her own way to organize the timing to have good sadhana and to be nourished. And the same for eating prasadam. If we don't eat properly, then we get ill and then we cannot perform our service. There was one temple president in Latin America. His name was like me, Yadunandana. At one point, he didn't eat because he was so busy doing service. And then he became very ill and he had to quit his service. He couldn't continue as temple president. So like that, we need to eat physically and of course, eat physically and eat spiritually. Not only eating prasadam, but eating by hearing, chanting, and sadhu sangha, sufficient time for sangha, and some time for relaxation as they do in New Brajadam. together, and so some chill out time should be there as well. Krishna conscious, but chill out time is important. Any other comments, thoughts on these two challenges? Otherwise, do we have time for one more? Narasimha Kavacha Prabhu?
Yeah, you've got about 5 minutes.
Okay, one more challenge. One burning challenge, whatever, from your group. You can write it. If somebody is shy to speak up on the mic and comment Dandavats speaking, you can, or your YouTube channel, you can write it and then I read it. Okay, Mahasankarshan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. So we have situation that before installation, it was like 7 years ago, many devotees say, okay, we will serve to deities, and they say we will do this Pujari Seva. And then year after year, one have problem with health, another have problem with morning Seva because it was too much for him. Another have problem with some personal things, another go somewhere. So one devotee left, second devotee left. And now we have only like 2 or 3 like secondary pujaris, and one, it's me actually, who do like daily seva. So it's also, I think, some challenge, like maintain number of persons who doing this Pujari Seva.
Okay, that's, yeah, I suppose it depends on the temple and the historical moment of the temple, sometimes changes. Like now in New Brajamandala, for those of you who don't know, was proposed to be sold, and the topic went to the GBC body twice. Once in 1999-2000, devotees wanted to sell the place altogether and move the deities elsewhere. And another time didn't go. The first time went to the GBC body was a big issue, and His Holiness Karamakanana Swami Maharaj was a key personality to avoid the selling. We're indebted to him for that. And then later on in 2007 or 8, it was a proposal for the selling again. And so what I mean is there are histories. Sometimes in temples things go up, go down, depending on what happens around, what happens in the community. So like here now at the moment we have some more devotees came. Now a couple came, a Grihasta couple. So we have sufficient pujaris. Not that much that we can send them to other temples, that we have too many, but we could say we could say that it's the situation is steady. But we had periods where one devotee, Venudar Prabhu, was doing everything alone. The period of the selling was crazy, and he's still here. He's a hero. He's a great hero. So we need to find ways. If we need support, we need to ask the temple president, the GBC, or whoever to give us support. We shouldn't collapse in the attempt of saving the temple. That's what I will say, that we need to ask for help if we need it. We should, otherwise, it will happen to us like this president who didn't need. So if the head Pujari doesn't take care of himself and is doing everything, that's not healthy. Some solution has to be done. That's what I can say. It's just of course, other comments are welcome. His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami Maharaj is here, so maybe if Maharaj wants to contribute is welcome to contribute on that, and or any other of the devotees of the head pujaris, or Medhavi Prabhu was here as well. We like to contribute. Narasimha Kabacha Prabhu, you like to say something on this point? When it becomes too hectic and no pujaris, and the head pujaris alone, what do we do about that?
Pray.
I'm passing the hot potato to the minister.
You pray. It's difficult. It's difficult. And it's something that's a little bit all too common. But yeah, hot potato. Yeah, thank you so much for that presentation, Maharaj. Really appreciated it. And I'm sure the devotees also appreciate your presentation.